Yeah, I want to say welcome to this webinar. We are about to start. We are about to start. I want you to prepare your mind, prepare yourself. Get your notepad, get your pen, because we are just starting out. And I want you to get ready because today we are going to discuss so many wonderful things about relocating to Canada. So I want you to get ready. Just log in. Look at the right hand of your computer. You will see a chat box. If you are ready, just say yes. Type yes on your computer. Type yes and click enter. If you are ready for this webinar, I want to indulge you to listen attentively as we are starting, because there are so many wonderful things that we are going to share today. So many people have been asking questions about traveling to Canada, that today I want to demystify some of these points. I want to talk and throw lights on some of these issues regarding to traveling to Canada and working legally. Actually, today, easylymoveToCanada.com, you can see our website displayed on the screen, www.easylymoveToCanada.com. We are presenting this webinar to the public today in conjunction with motivationniger.com. My name is Fidelis Anene. I am the owner of easylymoveToCanada.com and also motivationniger.com. We decided to run this webinar today to throw light on this issue regarding to traveling to Canada. Actually, we do so many webinars throwing light on so many issues, but this one is the one that I have expertise on. So much expertise on, and I've been involved in this Canada stuff, sharing information to people through my blog, www.traveltocanadaeasily.blogspot.com. Also on my webpage, we have shared so many information as regarding to traveling to Canada, and so many people have benefited. So many people have called me from outside the country and encouraged me to go on with this project. So I want to throw light, and some people are really confused about this issue of traveling to Canada. And today I want to throw light on this issue. I want to throw light on this issue regarding to traveling to Canada. And I believe that you will gain something. I want you to give me your attention. And I want to start by saying there are so many ways you can relocate to Canada. People go to Canada for different reasons, because Canada is a very wonderful country. They are friendly to visitors, they are friendly to immigrants. So many people want to relocate to Canada. Also, Canada has work. They have programs that enable people to come there and work because of the shortage of workforce. They have so many programs laid down to assist foreigners that want to come there and work and study and so many other things. So some of these programs are what people normally do. Some people talk of Canada Visa Lottery. There's nothing like Canada Visa Lottery. There are programs laid down by the government of Canada that enable people to travel to Canada. Today, I'm going to expose some of them and explain how they work to you, so that some of you that don't understand it will get acquainted with what it's all about. So I'm going to throw light on 4 ways you can relocate to Canada, and also talk on so many other things. Meanwhile, at the end of this webinar, I will give some bonus to people to help you to start this application, and also to tell you, throw light on some issues that I don't always give people for free. I will be able to show it. So I'm talking about 4 ways of relocating to Canada. Before I talk about the 4 ways, I would like you to know that there are 2 different kinds of visa. There are 2 different kinds of visa. We have immigrant visa, we have non-immigrant visa. They are 2 different things. You can go to Canada through non-immigrant visa. You can go to Canada through immigrant visa. Immigrant visa is a visa that is given. But I will use Canada to explain this. Immigrant visa is a visa that is given to somebody to come to Canada to go and live there permanently. It's not a visitor visa. It's not a work visa. It is not a study visa. You are going there to live permanently. So when you are doing immigrant visa, you know that you are going there to live. And your application, everything about your application is tailored towards that. You going there to live. And even the government of Canada is aware. So they ask so many questions. They look for so many things in order to ensure that your application is successful. And when they approve it, finally, when you get to Canada, even with your family, you can live, you can settle at the province that you were approved from the time you started doing the application. There will be a province that they will approve for you. Maybe the province you chose, or the province that is adapted to you. Then you relocate to that province in Canada. And when you get there, you settle down. Sometimes immigrant visa comes with a job. Sometimes it doesn't come with job. But the most important thing about immigrant visa is that when you move, you have left. You have when you get to Canada, you have that permanent residency. You can travel to so many countries of the world without visa. Once you have your immigrant visa and you collect your permanent residency, it will be given to you right from your country as you are moving. That's the sweetest part of it. You relocate to Canada with your family, settle down and work, go to any part of Canada without fear of being deported. And you can travel to the US if you like without visa. You can travel to so many countries, more than 100 countries if you have Canada permanent residency. So immigrant visa is a visa that is given to you to relocate. Then comes the other one, the B part of it, called non-immigrant visa. This is another wonderful way that somebody can relocate to Canada. Non-immigrant visa is a visa that is given to somebody to travel to Canada temporarily. If you are understanding and following me, just type, I am ready. I am ready. Type, I am ready. Type, I am ready if you are following my webinar. Type, I am ready. If you are traveling to Canada as a non-immigrant visa is a visa given to somebody who wants to go to Canada temporarily. However, I want you to understand something. If you are given non-immigrant visa, some people travel to Canada and convert their non-immigrant visa to an immigrant visa. There are steps to do this. So what people do, if they feel that going through non-immigrant visa is wasting a lot of time, what they will do, they will start with non-immigrant visa, like work, study, or visit, and so many other ways that are non-immigrant visa. If your this thing locks out, just check below and refresh. It will come again. Check below and refresh. It will come again, and just type that you are with us. Type I am with you at the chat box beside you at the right hand. So non-immigrant visa is a visa that is given to somebody to go temporarily to Canada, but you can go temporarily and then convert your non-immigrant visa to immigrant visa. How do you do that? For instance, if you apply for visitor visa, which is a non-immigrant visa, let's say, for instance, that there's a program happening in Canada and you applied for the to go for the program. Maybe the program is a 2-month program and you go. Maybe it's a training. Let me use an instance here. It's a training program. You go to Canada. Then you apply to the organization. The organization gives you the letter to come for the program. You collect the letter. They would have sent it to your email or sent it to your address in Nigeria or any country you are. You pick up the letter, present it to the Canadian consulate in your country, Nigeria, as the case might be, with your international passport and other things, and they now issue you visa. When you now get there, you are a visitor. You are not permitted to work. But what you can do is that you can apply for extension of stay. You can apply for refugee status. If you have issues in your area, or if you can, rather, if you can even convince them that you have issues in your area, you have reasons that you don't want to go back, you can convince them to give you temporary residence in the bargain. And when they give you that, grant your application, approve it, then you stay in Canada, and then you might even get a temporary job. From there, you work your way towards staying in Canada permanently. Some people even do marriage, whether it's contract marriage or whatever, to stay on. Some people do so many other things. If you have a temporary work, you can convince your worker to train you, give you certification. You use that certification now to apply for temporary stay, convincing them that you want to stay on and work. From there, you will be able to stay on. But you went with non-immigrant visa. Work visa is also a non-immigrant visa, because you might be given 2 years visa to relocate to Canada. When you now relocate to Canada with work visa, maybe 1 year or 2 years visa, is a non-immigrant visa. They expect you to come back, but you might decide not to come back. I hope you're with me. You might decide not to come back. Welcome, Antoniola. I'm seeing you, Victoria. Mwameze, Adekunle. I can see you people. You're welcome. You're welcome. Lillian, and so on and so forth. So when you get to Canada, you can change your status with non-immigrant visa. You went first of all with non-immigrant visa, but you can decide to change. But you must start from somewhere. So if it is work, let's say you are given 1 year or 2 years visa, you are expected to come back after your work expires. But what do? You renew it after it expires. However, if you are a smart person, you don't need to wait for that 1 year or 2 years to expire. What you do with your work visa, you can successfully apply for permanent residency through the express entry. I'm going to talk about all this. Just follow us on this webinar. I'm going to throw light on all this. With your work visa, you are qualified, and you even have more score when you enter into the profile of express entry, which is one of the ways to travel to Canada through immigration. So you now apply while you are working. You don't have any problems with your job. You have a job, you're being paid salary, you have accommodation in Canada. But why do you do this? Because you want to stay on, you want to remain in Canada, you want to get your permanent resident paper, so that whenever you are going to Nigeria, you don't need visa. Whenever you are going anywhere, you don't need visa. Many countries. So that's why you want to convert. But it doesn't mean that if people are there with temporary residency that they are frustrated. People that work, some people don't have permanent residence, but they are happy and doing very well in Canada. But most of them work towards permanent residency because that's the better aspect of it. So you see that non-immigrant visa, like even study visa, is a non-immigrant visa. But I will explain more as I go on this webinar. Now, I am going to talk about the first aspect I want to talk about, because I told you I'm going to expose 4 ways one can relocate to Canada. And first of all, I want to talk about immigration to Canada programs. Immigration to Canada programs are ways that people relocate to Canada to go and stay with their family. If you're a single person, you can relocate, get jobs successfully in Canada, work in Canada, live in Canada, study in Canada, do everything, and you're entitled to almost everything that the citizens of Canada are entitled to. So, but this immigration to Canada program, there are so many of them. There are methods. In 2015, to be precise, immigration to Canada has been there for several years. That's why you see some people, when they want to collect money from somebody, they will tell the person that there is visa lottery, there's Canada visa lottery. There's nothing like Canada visa lottery. And I will say it again and again. What Canada has is laid down immigration programs that enable people to relocate to Canada with their family to go and work and live. These programs, if you follow their steps and you pass them, Canada will allow you to go there and live. There are ways to do this. There are ways to do the application. There are ways to follow it up. So you do it and they approve it. It's not like visa lottery that you play and you play it like lottery. It's not like that. There are procedures of application. There are things they require you to submit. You know, there are ways to do this, but I will explain some of them. That is why we have this Canada ebook that exposes so many things about the application. So, but I will throw light on some of these things and make you to understand that these things are not really magic. They work. People have been using them. But in 2015, they remodified it. They rebranded it to this immigration. They classified it into different. There is the one called Express Entry. Express Entry is one of the immigration programs. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about Express Entry. I'm going to talk about Provincial Nominee Program, or PNP. I'm going to talk about family sponsorship. But first of all, let me talk about the Express Entry. The Express Entry is a very wonderful way of relocating to Canada. It's a very wonderful way of relocating to Canada. And I want to encourage you to listen to me so that you will understand what the Express Entry is all about. Express Entry came into being in 2015 because Canadian government, they wanted to make it easier for people to relocate to Canada faster. Before, if you apply for immigration to Canada, it will take like 4 years, sometimes 3 years before you finally finish every application. But with the Express Entry, it's no longer like that. People go to Canada within 6 months. People go to Canada within 1 year plus, depending on how lucky you are and how your application goes. And the good side of Express Entry is that even if they didn't give you after the first application, you can reapply again and you might get it after the second time. There are things to do. There are tasks to fill. There are questions that have been bothering you. And if you have questions, you can even be typing in the chat box. Maybe I will take time and even explain some of the questions you might be asking. But I will still be talking on things people have been asking me. So this Express Entry came into being. And then Canadian government made it simple. They simplified it. If you now want to travel to Canada, you will now apply through the Express Entry program. And then if you are successful, you go to Canada with your family. If you are an individual, you go to Canada. You have a family, you go with your entire family and dependents. And the Express Entry, you can apply successfully through the Canadian government portal. They have a portal dedicated to it, which is one of the reasons we package an ebook that normally shows people how to do all these things. Then, what the Express Entry normally has 2 stages of application. The first stage of Express Entry is you submitting your application into the pool. Why the second stage is the stage we call invitation to apply. After you have been accepted into the pool, the second stage is when you are given invitation to apply. So what the Canadian government requires of you is to submit your application through the Express Entry if your desire is to go to Canada with the Express Entry. You submit your application through the Express Entry, through the Canadian government portal. Then, when you submit your application, you allow it to enter the pool. You might be lucky within a few days or weeks that you submitted, they accept you in the pool. I have applied to some people in 24 hours. Some people it depends. It depends on somebody's luck, and it depends on profiling too. Some of these things, although we explained some of these things, the links to all the secret information, we explained it in the Canada Guide ebook. But what I want to tell you that is Express Entry, when you submit the first application through their portal, you put your name, your address, your information about you, like your international passport, your work experience, you understand what you have been doing, your educational background. And there's something I want to explain here. Some people, they will call you, they say, I don't have a university education. Do you think I can go to Canada? You can go to Canada. You don't need to have a university education to go to Canada. You need to have a skill. I hope you're getting me. Say, yes, I'm getting you. Type it on the chat box. Say, yes, I'm getting you. If you're getting me, you don't need to have a degree before you can go to Canada. You don't need to have a degree. If you are skilled, If you are skilled, yes, Babatola, I heard you. He said you're with me, and the other people, Lillian, said okay. So if you have a skill, you can use your skill to go to Canada, because in this application, there's the one we call trades. If you didn't go to the university, you can apply under trades. Maybe you are, let's say for instance, you are a plumber, you are an electrician, but you didn't go to the university. There's application for those type of people. Even trailer drivers do go to Canada. But I will also like you to understand that government of Canada wants people that will go to Canada to be people that have a basic knowledge of English language or French. Either of them. You can, maybe you know French, how to speak French, or you know how to speak and write in English. Which are either of them, because there are provinces that are purely French province, like Quebec is a French-speaking province, while Manitoba and other provinces, they are English, many English-speaking provinces. So what is there is that you apply through the express entry, and you fill your application, giving them your job experience and the requirements. At a stage, you will be required to write English language test. That's for the immigration, for the express entry. And do what we call educational credential assessment. All these things are to enable the government of Canada know that you have WAEC. You had a 12 years of education. Or you may, if you didn't, if you had WAEC, or maybe you didn't go to the university, but at least this is your education, this is your experiences. You give them your experiences. What have you been doing? What did you learn after your secondary school? Then if you did a diploma in a polytechnic, you let them know that you did a diploma, you did this, did that, or you went to the university, you let them know in their portal, then you apply. Then they check it. Once they accept you and you're in the pool, you have a chance, you stand a chance of being given invitation to apply, which is the second stage. So second stage of express entry is when you are given invitation to apply. Once you are given invitation to apply, they will now ask you to submit full application, as in all those things you put into their portal, they will require proof of it. If you say you worked in a company before, you just go to the company and say they should just give you a letter to show that you have worked there before. Simple. You bring your international passport, the original, and scan to them. Give them all the information about you to prove to them that you tell them what have you been doing since you finished secondary school or university. You give them full information. So, and then they will finish your application for express entry and then give you your paper. And once you have been given invitation to apply within 6 months, the Canadian government is committed to giving people the permanent residency within 6 months, all the people that apply for express entry. But you first of all must receive invitation to apply. So that's the express entry application. It is an immigration program that assists people from developing countries and so many other countries relocate to Canada. Even of recent, you see that even people in America too, they want to even go to Canada because Canada is job friendly. It's they are people friendly. Because some people in America or in so many European countries, they don't even have stay in the country they are, and they want to have stay. They want a country that will be easier for them to get a paper or to get stay. So some of them even also apply for this express entry and so many other programs. So another way you can go to Canada through the immigration program is provincial nominee program. There are so many provinces in Canada. There's Manitoba, there's Prince Edward Island, there's New Brunswick, there's Ontario. There are so many other provinces in Canada. There are so many other provinces, so many of them in Canada. And all these provinces, they have their various ways of accepting people to come to Canada through their province. They have, normally some of them, they have their express entry application, which means if you apply through express entry, you might decide to choose that province and then notify them whether they will accept you, show them your work experience and other things. That one, you are going through the province inside express entry. Some people, when they apply for express entry, they just choose provinces and then start searching for province that will be better for them. But they choose, in the first instance, they choose all the provinces, hoping that maybe one of the provinces might nominate them. So you see, in the provincial nominee program, but they have a program specifically called PMP, Provincial Nominee Program, which is not express entry. In that one, you have to apply through the provinces directly. You submit what we call expression of interests. They have portals for it, like Manitoba and some of these provinces. You go to their portal, and then you see where they will tell you to submit your application, your name, your job experience, all the information they need. And then you submit what we call expression of interest. When you submit expression of interest to the provinces, they will now look at your expression of interest and then score you. If you qualify, they will give you their own invitation to apply, which is the province itself. Let's say you apply to go to Canada through Manitoba as a provincial nominee program, their own PMP program application through their province. That one is different from express entry. You apply through Manitoba province. They will now look at your application and scrutinize it. If they accept, they will, first of all, they accept you in their pool as well, just like express entry. From the pool, they will now select. What they do every month, they select a number of candidates. It depends on how they do it. They have specific ways, each province. Sometimes maybe in a year, a province might decide that they will select 10,000 people for their province. So every month, they look at the people, number of people that have what they are looking for. So you now apply, and they look at it and they select you. Once they select you, they will give you their invitation to apply. You now do your permanent residency. This one, they will tell you to do permanent residence, which is normally submitted. Ghana is the center point for Africa, West Africa, but you can still submit it in your house, send it to DHL to them, as long as you have all the things they need, and you submit it. But you just package it. If there's any necessary fee, they ask you, like the permanent residence application, you give it to them and then wait for your application, just like you pay visa fee when you go for your temporary visa application. So you do the application, and once it is granted, you go to Canada through provincial nominee program. There's another way through which people go to Canada through immigration, is family sponsorship. Family sponsorship is different. If you have somebody in Canada, who is your brother or your sister living in Canada, or your friend, some provinces allow you to apply through what we call family sponsorship. You apply either through the province, or express entry have family sponsorship application as well. You just submit your application, call your friend or your brother or your cousin or your sister or your aunt or uncle who is in Canada. Let him sponsor your application, not financially. Sponsor your supporting it. There's a document they will give him there. He will fill it, indicating that he's interested in sponsoring your application. He is interested in accepting that when you come to Canada, he will harbor you. That one is under family sponsorship. Try to understand. This one is not express entry, is not, it's family sponsorship. That's what is being called. So that one is for people who, so if you have a relation in Canada, you can work towards, maybe if you have better, like a brother, a father, a mother, a sister, aunt, uncle. If you have people like that, you can let them help you in your application. If you have a friend as well, even through the provincial nominee program, you can convince them to help you when you apply for provincial nominee. Ask them to help you. You just use their name as supporters, so to make your case more faster. So that is for immigration to Canada. Immigration to Canada programs are wonderful ways of relocating to Canada. It's a very wonderful way of going to Canada, because when you apply through immigration to Canada program, you know that you are going to Canada to live. You don't need to start being afraid of, what do I do when I go to Canada? Where do I sleep? Where do I eat? All these questions are unnecessary, because when you get to Canada, Canada is a very big place to accommodate so many people. There's job in Canada, and they value people who are serious, who are determined to do something with their career. Canada is even ready to train and to help people in so many ways to adapt to any province in Canada. So they lay down all these programs to make sure that people come to Canada. So another way that people normally go to Canada is through what we call working in Canada programs. Somebody can relocate to Canada. Somebody can relocate to Canada through work. How do you achieve this? You will ask. There are companies in Canada, there are organizations that hire people in Canada. Some of them hire from international community. Some of them hire from outside of Canada. Some of them hire even foreigners too that have come to Canada already. Some of them, they spread their tentacles. They're looking for workforce and they're hiring. So how this is done is that you look out for them. Where are they? You look out for them. And then you apply for jobs when they flash jobs on internet sites or on the place where they advertise. Sites like Job Bank, www.jobbank.gc.ca. It's a very wonderful site too, where people go to search for jobs for people that want to relocate through work. So they call some of these organizations, they call them placement agents, recruitment agents. What they do is they recruit workers for companies. You don't need to pay them. Majority of them, they don't even ask you to pay money, because some of the firms that ask them to hire for them have paid them. It's their work. All you need to do is to find them. You apply and they give you, if you send your application to them with what we call CV or resume, they will look at it, look at your job experience, look at your background. And there are different types of work. It's not only people that go to the university. There are even trailer drivers. I've seen them get hired. I've seen a body in Canada that train people like that. They give you a job and they say they will train you. It works like a labor work, like people that are even pipe fitters, welders, laborers, factory workers, all those type of work. And also professional jobs like production workers and like caterpillar mechanic, excavator operators, all those type of jobs. There are different types. It depends, like telephone, even receptionist, and all those type of. It depends. You need to look out for job openings, and then you do a good resume, and then you send your application to some of these companies. When you send your application to some of these companies, and then they give you what we call letter of offer or employment letter, and then you use this letter of employment to go to Canada by applying through the Canadian consulate or Canadian visa office. You submit your application. Normally, a visa application, work visa, takes like 3 months to approve. It doesn't take time. Within 3 months of your application, your work visa is approved and you relocate to Canada. Once you have your paper, even if you have family, you can go with your family if you are given a work permit. So working legally in Canada is something that happens. People use it to travel to Canada. All you need to do is to submit your application for work through the job sites. And there are other ones like Canadian, we call it Canadian Experience, which the Canadian government uses to help people to relocate to Canada too. You apply for work. Another one, you can apply for training in an institution that trains people for work. Even in some universities, some colleges in Canada, they train people for work. You apply and get the training for maybe 1 year or 6 months. After that, you lobby your employer to hire you, or you use the certification they give you to apply for work in another place. In that way, you get you stay in Canada. Normally, when people apply for this type of training in the embassy, they are giving what we call co-op work permits, so that when they get to Canada, they will work even while they are doing the training. And after the training, they have the certification, they can apply for work. So that is a very wonderful way of going to Canada through work. People go to Canada as well through study and work programs. Study in Canada and work in Canada go hand in hand. You can study and work in Canada at the same time. The way they even did it now, if you have a family, you can go with your family if you are given a study visa. You first of all apply to a school or an institution in Canada that you want to study in Canada. They will give you acceptance letter if they admit you to their institution to study. When they approve your application, they give you acceptance letter, admission letter. With that acceptance letter and admission letter, you submit your application for visa to the Canadian embassy in your country, tendering other documents like statement of account, information about you like your CV to show what you have been doing after school, your international passport, and so many things like there's a letter we call, they will ask you, why do you need a study permit? Study permit is a document that enables you to go to Canada and study and as well work. So if you get admission in a school in Canada, you apply for study permit. Don't apply for only student visa. If you apply for only student visa, if you get to Canada, it will be difficult for you to work. You will start all over again to go and apply for what we call off-campus work permit. And they will grant you before you work. But if you go to Canada with study permit, you can even get job right in the institution that you are studying. You can get job there and start building your career in the school. So sometimes if you apply for this, if they ask you, why did you apply for study permit or why do you need some of the things, you will tell them in the letter of why do I need this, is that you want to gain the Canadian job experience while you are studying in Canada. That you don't want to just study alone. You want to gain the full experience of Canadian workforce so that it will help you to build your career. You tell them something like that, they will know, yes, this guy is somebody serious. He doesn't want to play with the time he's studying. And again, so many people, you know, they just want to join this because it's better if you go to Canada, you are working, you're studying, you're earning money, you are also working, you're also studying, you're also having the experience. So when you finish school, it will be easier for you. And again, you will not be dependent 100% on your parents or anybody back home for money because you are working. So it's good to, when you are going to Canada, remember, study permits, you must apply, because when you want to study in Canada, there are two things they will give. They will give you what we call temporary resident visa. They will give you study permits. So these documents will enable you to go to Canada. So when you now get to Canada, they will still give you, sometimes they will still give you off-campus work permit. But if you go to with study permits and work, it's so easy. Why is study permits is even very, very wonderful is that you can change program, you can change school. You can get to Canada and decide to change school. You don't like the school you want. With your study permit, you can change school. You can change program, no problems. But if you don't have a study permit, it will be very difficult. So that's why you need a study permit. And you need a very wonderful school. If you want to study in Canada, not just that, you need to plan it very well. You need a school that won't ask you for English test. There are so many wonderful schools in Canada. You need a school that will not ask you to start writing English tests so that it will be easier for you. You need a school that will not ask you to pay all the school fees immediately. You need a school that will just, their application fee is very minimal. So that when you just pay a little, some schools, application fee, $50, $70, $100. With the application fee, they will do your review for your admission. They will check you up, everything, and then give you the admission, and they will give you all the documents you need to go to the embassy. All you do, let's say your school fees is $5,000. You can decide to pay parts, maybe $1,000 deposit or $500 deposit. Some schools, they even ask for just $400, some $200. I have a school, they ask for $100 only. To help yourself, you might decide to pay more just to stand a good chance of getting your visa. You deposit. Normally, even if you didn't get visa, these schools do refund your money back to you. They will tell you there's a non-refundable. If it's $100 or $200 that is non-refundable, they will tell you ahead of time when you are doing the application. So you now get all the documents Once you have their documents in your hand, you now submit your application for study permits. There are so many ways you can submit application for study permits. You can do it physically by going to the embassy. They have a visa center in Lekki. They have in Ikeja. You submit your application at the Lekki. They will tell you all that you need. And you submit everything. And they will carry all your papers to the embassy and submit. You pay the stipulated visa fee. If it's $150, you pay it. And then wait for your application to come out. You can as well submit your application online. You go to the Canadian government portal and submit your application. They have a way of submitting visa. Whether it's study visa, work visa, visit visa, you can submit it online. Use all those documents that you would have gone to the embassy with. You submit it online. And it's still the same thing with the person that go there, because they will look at everything, give you update. If they have given you visa, they will contact you through your account, contact you through your email, and tell you that you should come over and pick your international passport. If they want thumbprint, they say, come over and give your thumbprint. These are some of the things we do explain in the Canada ebook. So when your visa is ready, they give you your visa. You now go to Canada. If you are somebody that has a family, you can decide to go with your family. You can decide to go with your wife, your kids, if you have the money to go. Some people, what they do, they will go first and then invite their spouse. And if your spouse is coming to Canada with you, they will even give the person what we call open work permit. So that when the person gets to Canada, while you are studying, the person is working with an open work permit. Isn't it wonderful the way Canada has simplified all these things? So you see that if you apply for study visa, you can still be able to go to Canada with your family. You can still be able to go to Canada and build your job experience, build your career. One very good thing about studying in Canada is that you can work while studying. For instance, if you have a 4-year program to do in Canada, if you have a 2-year program, if you have a 2-year, as long as your study is more than 6 months, they will allow you to apply for study permit, which will enable you to work. So let's say you have a 1-year visa. You have 1 year to work and study in Canada. And after you graduate, if you studied 4 years in Canada, they will give you 4 years again, postgraduate work permit to work in Canada before they will even ask you to go back. If you studied 2 years, they give you 2 years postgraduate work permit. Once you have gotten your postgraduate work permit, you start working in Canada. And then in that process, as a smart person, you apply for your permanent residency. You go through the express entry or go through the province you studied. It will be so easy for you now to get your papers, because you have studied in that province. You have your postgraduate work permit. You are allowed to work. And your application, when you submit it in the portal, you will score high points, and it will be, before you know it, they have given you invitation to apply, and then you can have permanent residency in Canada. There is no need of you coming back to Nigeria again or wherever. If you are coming back, you are coming maybe because you want to come and visit, but you can stay in Canada as a permanent resident, get your paper, relocate to US if you like. So that is study in Canada programs. Very wonderful way. Another way you can go to Canada is by visit. There are so many ways you can get invitation letter. So many ways you can visit Canada. If you have a vacation, you have your money and you want to visit Canada for vacation, you book a hotel. Vacation, you book a hotel, and maybe you want to stay for 1 month or for 3 weeks. You send them information about who is sponsoring you, or if you are sponsoring yourself, tell them what you want to go and do in Canada. If you have a business also to attend in Canada, you get a letter from the company or the organization that you have a discussion, business meeting or business discussion. Maybe it's 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 days, whichever way. They will give you visa. All you need to do is to package yourself, international passport, your statement of account or sponsor. If you have a company that is sponsoring you to go and do maybe feasibility study for a product, you can use this means to go to Canada. You can go to make inquiries for business, even for school. People do visit schools to make inquiry and use that means as a visiting visa to go to Canada. When you now go to Canada, some people, again, maybe you have a relation, maybe brother, father, sister, they will invite you with invitation letter. Or you have a company that invites you to Canada, or whichever way you received the invitation, or an organization is holding program like church crusade. Maybe you belong to Rotary Club, or your brother belongs to, and they're inviting you for their program, or you are doing seminar in Canada. You can use these ways to go to Canada as a visitor. You get your visitor invitation letter from the body and use it as a bet. Apply for visiting visa. You tender these documents with the Canadian embassy. Tell them why you want to go to Canada, and then they give you. When they give you the visa, normally visitor visa doesn't take time. Within 1 month or thereabout, one month, 2 months, you have your paper and you travel to Canada. When you get to Canada, if you don't want to come back, there are so many ways you can do it. You can get married by contract or real marriage. You can get a job, a temporary job with an organization, and tell them, convince them to build your profile while you are in Canada, build your job experience. You use it as a bet to lobby the Canadian government to extend your stay, to give you temporary stay. You can as well apply for refugees. People, if there is trouble in your area, or you can convince, if you can convince them that there is a problem in your area, you don't want to go back, use it and apply. They will look at your application, and once it is considered, they will grant you temporary stay in Canada. You keep on staying in Canada. So I hear some people saying network is making up. Refresh your computer. If network is giving you problem, refresh your computer and it will come up again. Click below and refresh your computer and it will come up again. Then when you are visiting as a visitor, you can stay in Canada. Some people, they will call me, they will ask me, if I visit Canada, will I be able to work? Will I be able to work? Will I be able to study? You are a visitor. You can work, yes. But the work you might get might not be the work you like as a visitor until you get your temporary paper. So that is why you should work towards getting your temporary paper once you are in Canada. You work towards getting your temporary paper. So you just need to convince them in the application that this is why you want to stay. You understand? Or based on some of these things I've mentioned. And you have some of these applications. When they are granted, people are allowed to go to Canada and live even with their family. Normally, as a visitor, if you have a family, you cannot invite your family member. But if you convert to a temporary stay, you can work towards doing that. Work towards applying for a good job. Work towards applying for permanent residency, and then you can invite your family. You can as well. If you visit Canada, and again you don't want to come back to your country, you can as well get married to their citizen there, or somebody that has permanent residence, and use it as a way to stay on in Canada and get your paper, support your applications. You can do so many things, but you don't need to get into illegal activities. If you have a certificate, let's say for instance you studied in Nigeria and you go to Canada with visitor visa, because you went with a visitor visa, that's why your certificate is not recognized, but your certificate is recognized worldwide. What people normally do when they get to Canada is that if they are working, they try to do what we call Educational Credential Assessment, ECA. There's a body, you just pay them a few dollars, they translate your certificate to Canada standard. You don't need to go to school again to get your certificate, except maybe for some programs like nursing that require more certification. They will now ask you to collect you go to their body. There's a body there that is in charge of nurses or pharmacists. They will give you, tell you where to register, and they will give you their own certification. But you are qualified already, but they will just give you exam to be sure. But if it's not a professional course like that, all you do is examination, credential assessment. Let's say you have BSc Economics in Nigeria, you are qualified to work in Canada, you get a job. But when you are there and try to apply for permanent residency, you're supposed to do what we call ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. That one is just translating your Nigerian certificate to Canada standard. Just a few weeks they do it and they give you. But that one you'll be holding. If Canada is looking at it, they will now know the grade you. That, okay, that Nix, he finished in OND, he finished in HND, he did a university, has a university education. So that is how somebody is asking here, what are the questions you likely may expect from an interview? What are the questions you might likely? I will talk about it later. Don't worry, I'll talk about these things. So, like in visit office, I'll throw more light because there are so many types of interviews. Not only when you are visiting Canada as a visitor, even when you want to work or whatever thing. Like visiting visa is a part of the non-immigrant visa. So they will want to know, because Canada, the truth is this, they are looking for people whose their family are stable in Nigeria or any country they are. You don't go to Canada, you tell them that you're not working. You don't go to the embassy, tell them that you are not working. Make them know that you have a job. If you don't have a job, there must be something that you are engaged doing. Either you're a businessman or whatever you are doing, you are engaged doing something, so that they will know that you are not running away. Because normally people that go to Canada through visitor visa create the impression that they are coming back. Even though they know when they get there, they might not like to come back because they might want to continue working in Canada. They might want to change their status. Canadian government knows this, but what they want are people who are truthful and people who are skilled. You understand? So if you are going with visitor visa, give them the impression that you are coming back. Make sure that you don't go and tell them that your salary is 20,000 naira. They will look at you and say, this guy is hungry. He wants to run away from Nigeria. There are so many things they would like to know. If you are married, tell them the truth that you are married. At least they will say, okay, this guy has a stable family. But even if you are not married, but they look at you, you are working, or you are doing business, or you are engaged in something meaningful, maybe with an NGO, you are doing something. They look at your record, you're not a criminal. They look at so many things. They look at you, you have a talent. You might not have money, but you have a talent and you are doing something about it. You are busy. You are not just jobless in Nigeria. You're not somebody who is going to come over there and cause trouble. These are some of the things that they look out for when you travel. So, somebody asking, can we help us process? Just follow it, or I will get to that stage. Yes, we do. You can still use the Canada ebook to do it yourself. We still do it. So visiting Canada is a very wonderful way of going to Canada if you know that you don't want to wait. Maybe you don't have a good job yet, the job of your desire in Nigeria, or you have a job but you just want to visit and have the Canada experience. Use it to build your visa, or go there and plan to change your status, or whichever way. You can try visiting Canada through so many of these ways I have mentioned. And by the time you get there, you plan towards extending your stay. Some people that have enough money, what they do, they visit and they come back, build their visa. Then another time they're applying for work, or they're applying for another thing. But it doesn't matter, even if you didn't visit. If you have a virgin visa and have genuine reason of going to Canada, Canada will give you visa. So if you have a virgin passport and have very genuine reason of visiting Canada, Canada will give you visa. It's just these things that I just explained to you. And I'll give you an instance of a husband and wife who the Canadian embassy, they wanted to collect visa. Look at this scenario. The husband and the wife, they are taking their child for medical treatment in Canada. The consular looked at them and said, you want to run away from Nigeria, isn't it? How can two of you be taking your child for medical? Why can't one of you take that child? So you see, they discovered that they made a mistake. They denied their visa. Now another time they wanted to apply, only the wife applied, and immediately they gave her visa. You see, so they are looking for something. If they look at anything, it looks suspicious, they won't give you visa. If it looks suspicious, the way you applied, they won't give you. Somebody is asking if somebody has HIV, and she was asked if that we hold him back, and she wants to know the type of test. Yes, the type of test they do. They don't do is not because of HIV. That's not why you'll be denied visa. Look at the test they are looking for. It's tuberculosis, contagious disease, infectious disease. That's what they are looking for. If they ask you to go and do tests, they are looking for contagious disease. If you have tuberculosis or you have a disease that can infect other people, they won't give you visa. If you have HIV and you have a very good reason that you are traveling abroad, they will give you visa, because HIV is not contagious. It's only contacted through blood, not by when you cough or when you sneeze. So the test is they want to know that you are in good health, you are physically fit, you are in good health, sound health, you're not having tuberculosis that when you cough inside a plane or anywhere you give it to that country. That's why they run the tests. So these are the ways that people can travel to Canada. What do we do at easilymovetocanada.com platform? What do we do? What is our job? How do we assist people to achieve their dream of relocating to Canada? We basically provide reliable information, updated information, application guide to people as regards immigration to Canada, working in Canada, studying in Canada, visiting Canada, visa application processes. We provide all these guides for people through the Canadian Guide ebook that we sell on our website, www.easilymovetocanada.com. We use this package. Inside this package, we explain so many things about how to relocate to Canada, how to apply for the immigration program, how to apply a secure job. There are so many job sites inside the Canada book. One of them is the Canadian government portal for job, www.jobbank.gc.ca, www.jobbank.gc.ca. This is just one of them. There are several of them we provided on inside the Canada book. When you get to this site, you will see that people file application for job. There are so many information about job on this site. All you need to do is to submit your application to the company of your choice, and then you have to package your application well. And I will still talk through light on it as I go on. I'll throw light on how to send application to these companies. So, but what we do at Easily Move to Canada platform is to tell people how to go about these applications, how to do this. We explained it in detail inside this Canada Guide ebook. One of them is called How to Travel and Work in Canada Legally. It contains all the information about applying for immigration to Canada, applying for job, so many job sites, and how to apply, sample resume, because you don't use a CV to apply for a job when you are applying to a foreigner. You use resume. If you use a CV, sometimes it's not really effective. Do you understand? CV is not effective for foreign job applications. This thing is more effective, what we call resume. I will explain in detail more. Although inside the Canada book, we gave a very wonderful sample resume and cover letter for job application, overseas job application, especially Canada. You don't just use a resume to apply for job. Sorry, you don't just use a CV to apply for job. You use a resume, well-packaged resume. That's why one of the things we still do at Easily Move to Canada platform, we package resumes for people. We also show them information on it through the Canada ebook. So one of them is this How to Travel and Work. It contains information about applying for immigration to Canada, applying for all these things I mentioned. The portal, all the portals you need, we expose this inside there. You understand? And again, about job, information about job you need, about how to work in Canada, how to apply, how to package your application, organizations you need to send application to, how to go about it. We explained inside this Canada book. Normally, when we give people, when people buy Canada book, we give them a bonus, and all of them go together in one piece. If you go to the website, you see where we displayed it. This is how a complete guide to studying and visiting Canada. A very wonderful book that has helped so many people to secure admission to schools, apply for visitor visa, all the information you need about applying for visitor visa or applying for study visa is there. The links to the application forms, the information about how to search out the schools. Like I told you, there are so many schools, you know. For instance, there is the one school, Said, Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. I explained it. Although there are so many schools, you don't just need to depend on. That's why you need more information about so many, how to get schools that are affordable, schools that the application fee is affordable, you know, so many things, you know. And I understand that so many people can go to Canada through study, train themselves through training program, like I told you, 6 months training, 3 months training. But if you want to get a study permit, you need to get a 8-month training or 1 year. You just get a certificate training program so that you get a study permit. Even if it's an institute or a private body that is doing that training, they will give you, Canadian government will give you study permits to go with it. So when you now get to Canada, you'll be able to work while you are doing your training successfully. And after work, you can apply for either a postgraduate work permit so that you'll be able to work. And then in that process, you apply for permanent residency. So that's how people go to Canada. It's not by magic. So inside this guide, we explain all the information about searching for schools and getting information about schools. So this is a bonus addition that we normally give to people when they buy the How to Travel Legally book. And it's an easy to follow step-by-step guide with links to all the necessary forms and everything you will ever need to move to Canada. These are wonderful information we just laid out for people. Secondly, another thing we do secondly at Easily Move to Canada platform is that we assist people. Some people will be asking, do you assist people do this application? Do you actually assist people do this application? Yes, we do. We assist people. Some people buy our application guide, the Canada book I just showed you, and they say, we don't want to get involved because of our work. I've seen so many people because of their job. They work in the banking industry. They work in so many offices that make them, their schedule is very tight. So they say, please help us do this application. We help people do application for people that want us to help them secure admission. We do that for people. We help people, but one of the criteria for us to do this application is that the person has Canada guidebook, the application guide, because with it, you understand what it's all about. You understand how to go about it. And even if you don't want to do, you understand what we are doing when we get involved in doing this application for you. We'll do it with you, even though we are the people that will do the application, but we work together with you. You understand the stage we are because you have the application guide. You know what we are doing. So we help people secure admission for schools. We help people apply for immigration to Canada, which is a step to go into the permanent residence. We help people apply for provincial nominee program, the express entry. We do these applications for people, even people that want us to help them use our discretion to search for jobs and file an application for them through some organization. We also help people do these applications. We do it for clients. So we do these applications. So thirdly, the number 3 thing that we want to, I have explained that. Somebody is asking, if you have visitor visa, can you work? I explained that before. If you have visitor visa, the visa they will give you will not allow you to work. But when you get to Canada, you will do some applications so that they will allow you to work with it. If you don't want to go back to your country, you can work. Even if you didn't do any application, you can work. Other ordinary jobs, sell in restaurant, do this, yes, you can work. But these are not works that are recognized. They are not, you don't have work permits. You can work, you can do different jobs. You can be a mechanic, you can work as even somebody that knows you can just help you, give you your bed. They won't give you good conditions because the job is not registered. For the job to be registered, let's say you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a professional, or you're a mechanic, Caterpillar mechanic, you want your job to be paid what you are worth. You need to have a work permit. You need to do all those things. So with visitor visa, there is either is yes or no. You can work, you cannot work. So you can work odd jobs with visitor visa, yes. But real jobs, you need to do some applications, get your paper approved that you are now living temporary in Canada. Then you will work, do your profession successfully, and then plan towards getting your permanent residency. So number 3 thing we do at Easily Move to Canada platform We also provide continuous guidance to our clients. We advise our clients, answer questions from time to time. People that bought our Canada book, they have questions. Maybe at a stage, they are doing the application themselves. At a stage, they want us to clarify one or two things. They call, we clarify, we give them guidance, we follow them up. We do all these things at Easily Move to Canada. We follow up our clients, we answer questions, we advise, we continue to guide you until you succeed. So that's what we do at easily-move-to-canada.com. We assist our clients in so many ways. In a nutshell, we make it easier for you. In easily-move-to-canada.com, we make it easier for you to achieve your dream of relocating to Canada. The Canada Guide ebook has all the information you need to make your applications about relocating to Canada so easy. After you get the Canada Guide ebook, which is the application guide, we can still help you do the application of your choice if you so wish. We offer continuous guidance and follow up to all our clients to ensure they succeed. So how long does work take for processing? Work visa takes 3 months. Work visa takes 3 months. 3 months to process. Work visa takes 3 months to process. Once you get your offer letter from the organization and submit it in the embassy, Canadian, it takes 3 months. They will first of all contact the organization that hired you, either placement agents or the company direct, and they have to check. Once they see that they have done what we call LMIA to certify that they have given you the job and the government of Canada has approved it. LMIA means Labor Market Impact Assessment, and so many other documents they will send. You submit it, and with other requested documents, they will not give you the visa. It takes 3 months. 3 months, 4 months, something like that. But minimum, many takes 3 months, except if there's something that they require that you didn't provide on time. It might delay, maybe a month longer. So, but for everything, we need to give them everything they need. So that is what we do. You can also receive updates from us from time to time. So just try and log into www.easily-move-to-canada.com. I hope you write it down, note the website, just in case. You can sign up to our newsletter so that you will get notification, updates when we have webinar or whatever information we have, free information we share from time to time. You can like our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/easily-move-to-canada, our Facebook page. Follow our blog always. I continuously post information. Any update about traveling to Canada, I normally post it. If there's any good information, I post for my followers and clients too. So you follow us on Twitter at Fidelis Anene, Instagram Fidelis Anene. Also, you can call our customer service line. You can copy the numbers on your screen and call us anytime you have questions. We are ready to assist. We are ready to answer your questions. And there are so many other things. Remember, I have a bonus. I told you I have a bonus that I'm going to share. So don't log off yet. There are so many things I want to still give out to people who participated in this webinar at the end. I want to talk about building your CV in case you want to apply for a job, to relocate to Canada through job. There's something you need to do. Although I explained in detail inside the Canada Guide ebook, but I want to throw a little light on this now. Never you use a CV to apply for a foreign job, especially Canada. Instead, use what we call a resume. Now, a resume, some people might ask, what is the difference between CV and resume? While a CV is very big, contains so many things, like telling your life history, a resume is a summary of your job experience. A resume is a summary of your job experience as related to the field you are applying for work for. Let's say you are applying for work as a human resource manager, and before you have worked as a security officer, you have worked before as a in the bakery as an attendant. Now, when you are applying as a human resources officer, you submit jobs related to that type of work. You don't go and tell them that you were digging ground before, that before you worked as a security officer, before you were a dance hall artist. You know, all those things are irrelevant to the job you are applying now. So if you are applying for a job, you need to make your resume look good. because there are so many people that are applying for that job. So you just go and submit anything, they will put it in the trash can. But if you package it very well, they will look it again and again. I've seen so many people, because they tried this thing very well, they have the Canadian, they have the company contact them. There was one teacher the other time, he submitted the application and he was following it. After some time, he got a very wonderful reply. The organization that did it, a placement agents, they didn't charge him any money again. They offered to do everything for him to relocate. When he gets there, they will be taking a little percentage until they do everything. So if you want to apply for a job, make sure you summarize the type of work. Tell them your responsibility. What were you doing in your former job? What did you do? What were your responsibilities? What were you doing? What did you achieve? What did you contribute to your former job? Try and make it unique. Try and convince them in your resume. Don't go and tell them your life history, that you were this, you were that. They don't need all those too much jargons. So that's it about resume. But I have a detailed information about it in the Canada book, and also links to what you need to do. Then bonus number 2, this Canada book, if you go to our website, you will see that we sell it for 3,000 naira. But if you participated in this webinar, you can pay 2,500 naira. If you really participated in this webinar, you can pay 2,500 and get this Canada book with all the bonuses, everything you can get to pay 2,500. We send it to you beginning now, and the next 4 days, beginning now, 96 hours. If you pay 2,500, I'll give it to you just to say thank you for participating on this webinar, because I like sharing information to people. I like to encourage people that have passion for what they are doing. I want to encourage people. So I'm giving it out. If you participated in this webinar or watch the replay, if you didn't participate to the end, but watch the replay of it, within the next 4 days, you can pay. From now, the next 4 days, just pay 2,500 and get the Canada ebook, so that you can start the application, so that you can know what it's all about, how it all. You can see this Canada book sells at Amazon.com, the #1 online store in the world. It sells at Amazon.com. Look at our screenshot of look at Canada book. It sells at Amazon. This one, it sells differently. This one is how to travel. This one is study guide. It sells differently, and people download it every day from Amazon.com. So this is our web page. Easily move to Canada web page. Easily move to Canada. This is our home page. All you have to do is, when you want to pay for it, just go to the home page. Scroll down below the page. You will see information about the bank details, and then you pay to any of the bank, either transfer or direct deposit, and you will get your Canada book sent to you. So that is my bonus to you for attending this webinar. This is our ordering page. How to travel. I see we have options of payment. You can do transfer, you can do direct deposit, and then you get your Canada book. People pay for Canada book every day, no matter wherever you are. Even people outside Nigeria do pay for it. Some people buy from Amazon.com. Some people do transfer or direct deposit with Quick Teller or with whatever means, mobile banking. Anytime, any day, we send it to them. They have a hard copy also version of the Canada ebook, a hard copy version of it. The additional 4,000 for the hard copy is because of courier service, and it's a printed copy. You have to send it to people wherever you are. You pay for it. You pay the 3,000 additional 4,000 naira. We send it to you anywhere. But if you are participating in this bonus and still need the hard copy, you can still pay 2,500 with the additional 4,000 for courier. We still send it to you anywhere you are. Although we have a reseller in Port Harcourt, the address, go to the website, click on how to order, or the homepage, scroll down below. You see the address if you want to pick it yourself, but you still have to cough up 6,000 because it's a printed copy. There is a retailer, authorized retailer. You just go there, you pick it from them. The address is near Obibo Express, near Diamond Bank in Port Harcourt. It's a printed version, and it goes for 6,500 there. But if you want, you are the hard copy. Anywhere you are, you get it. If you get it, you will be able to understand what traveling to Canada is all about. The information about the account details is also displayed on your screen right away. And if you want to purchase the Canada ebook, you will see the details of how to purchase it. The account details are there. We have UBA, we have Guaranteed Trust Bank, we have First Bank. Some of these, we even have Stanbic on our website. If you go to the ordering page, you will still see it. So once somebody wants to purchase Canada book, all you need to do is either you do direct deposit or you do transfer, and you will get your Canada book. But remember, for participating in this webinar, or if you watch the replay within the next 4 days, you can still pay 2.5 as a bonus to you and get the Canada ebook. And also remember, you are entitled to all our services. Like if you want us to help you further, or you want us to answer some questions that are bothering you, you can also do this. So I want to talk about, let me answer some questions. Some people are asking some questions. Why you are also, you can copy the account details if you want. Anytime you want to pay, you are free. Remember, within the next 4 days, the bonus is valid. Somebody asked, what are the requirements needed for preparation for Canada visa? It depends on the visa. If it is study visa, you need letter of explanation to explain why you need a study permit. You need a sponsor, statement of account of a sponsor or yourself. If you are the one sponsoring yourself, you understand, you need a sponsor to show that the person can sponsor you. At least if they check the account, the account can cover. If it is a 6 months training, the fees they charge you for that 6 months, if the account covers it, they will give you visa. If it is 1 year training, even if it's 4 years, they will check if it can cover the first 1 year of your program, they will give you visa. If the statement of account can cover the first 1 year. So that why people don't get it, that sometimes they want to apply for a visa, they go and use statement of account that is very poor. I advise somebody they want to apply for visa. The person went apply with statement of account of 500,000 naira, and he failed it right from the beginning. He began to fail right from the beginning. So there are so many other things, documents you need. If you are somebody who have been working, you need to give them, include your CV to your application. Tell them what you have been doing since you finished school. Don't just tell them that you have been idle for, maybe you finished secondary school and you have stayed 4 or 5 years before you applied. Let them know what you have been doing since then, so that they will look at you as a serious somebody. You understand? So if they ask you for medical tests, sometimes they do ask, then you go for medical tests. They have designated hospitals they will send you to. So all those things, they have info. We also give them letter of sponsor. The person that is sponsoring you will have to write a letter indicating, just a very good format, saying that he knows you and he's the one sponsoring you. If it's visitor visa, all you need, remember I said, if you have an invitation letter, or maybe you want to go for vacation, you have booked for a hotel, or you have somebody, if you have somebody in Canada who is inviting you over, who wants you to stay in his house, or even when you are going for a program, but you have somebody who will support your application, you let the person send the document we call affidavit of support. These are documents that will help them know that you have the expenses for the ticket and for other things, so it will be easy for you to get visa. ECA is legal, is a document, is educational credential assessment, is approved, is your certificate. It's just like your Nigerian WAEC converted to Canada WAEC. That's it. You just pay them a little fee. Victoria is asking, is ECA is legal? Is ECA legal in Canada? Yes, is your certificate, your Nigerian certificate or country certificate converted to Canada, but you pay them a little fee. They just look at your certificate, contact your school. They will contact your school and be sure, either through email or whatever, then they will now approve your certificate you gave to them. You would have submitted to them information about your certificate, and they will convert it to Canada standard, and then that one you now have in Canada, you can use it anytime. But that doesn't mean that if you don't have ECA that you can't look for a job. So I want you to have a good picture of it. You can look for a job with your resume. But after that, if you get there, you will be able to do your ECA, except of course if you have a company that requests that specifically, that's it, and which is not a problem. You just mail the body, they will do your ECA, and then you be able. There are bodies that do this, you know. So you somebody Itayo said, is it compulsory to do IELTS? If you want to work in Canada, it's not compulsory. You don't need IELTS to work in Canada. But if you like, when you get to Canada, you can do it as a way of improving your English score for future, so that when you want to apply for permanent residency, yes. But for job, you don't need it to apply for job. For school, So some schools ask for IELTS or TOEFL, TOEFL, test of English as a foreign language. But there are so many schools that as well don't ask for IELTS. So where you need IELTS is maybe if you're applying for immigration at a stage in the application, you will need it because they want to be sure that you are good in either English or French. You don't need to be perfect in it. You just need to score. There's some provinces that accept 5 points. Express entry 7. So at a stage, you will need it. So, but you don't need to depend on Express, and there are so many other ways. Like I said, family sponsorship is there, work is there, you can use job, you can use study visa and go to Canada, and then you plan towards the Express entry and permanent residency. So I have talked about this difference between CV and resume. I know you were there and you watch the replay and you will know much about it, because I say a resume is a summary of a specific job you apply. While a CV is a detail, so much details, and most of the time CV is not good. Even when you're applying a Nigerian job, multinational, don't use a CV, use a resume. There's a way it is packaged, and I talked about it a little bit. When you get the Canada book, you have more detailed information. Say, can the sponsor be anybody? Yes, no, let me explain something. Victoria say, can the sponsor be anybody? The sponsor can be somebody that is connected to you somehow. Don't use a stranger. They will look at the sponsor you are using. If the sponsor is a stranger, you won't be given visa. You will have to convince them the connection you have the sponsor. Either is a very good family friend of yours, a brother, a sister, a father, a mother, uncle, auntie, cousin. There must be a connection between you and that person. But if you use a stranger and you don't have a way of convincing them that you are related with that person by friendship or whatever means, they will know you are lying. Just use anybody. So the sponsor, anybody can be the sponsor. These people I mentioned, somebody you know and know you very well, can be your sponsor. I hope you get that. Say yes, I get that. I hope you are enjoying the webinar. So he said, somebody, Lillian say, is ECA same as WES? ECA is not same as WES, but WES is a body that does help people do ECA. WES, they call it World Education Service. They help people to do ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. There are so many other bodies that does ECA. There are so many other bodies like ICAF of Canada. They do it too. But WES is just one of them, and WES is approved by immigration to Canada to do Education Credential Assessment for people. Victoria said, I need you to help me with the processing from beginning to end. Yes, I said it before that we do help. Yes, if you want us to, all you need to do is contact us later and we'll discuss. We collect your CV and then we see how we can assist. But you first of all have to get the Canada ebook. Then with it, we now know how to assist you. Actually, so many people that are not really our clients, they pay more for these services. But if you are gotten the Canada book, you know exactly how we are doing it and what we are doing. It's so easy to assist you when we talk in the same terms. So you see that I've talked about okay, ECA. Yes, ECA is Educational Credential Assessment. That's the full meaning of ECA, Educational Credential Assessment, translating your Nigerian certificate to Canada, which is done in a few weeks, and it's just a small change you pay to them and they translate. But that's for you at a stage when you're applying for immigration to Canada, at a stage, especially express entry, provincial nominees. Some of them don't ask you for ECA. They first of all accept the application, but maybe at a stage too, they might ask some of them. Some of them, they just want you to have English, perfect English, a little bit of English knowledge, you see. So, some questions here. Let's see. I'm trying to see some questions. Okay, this was Victoria said, I would love to move with your husband. Yes, if you have a study visa, you can move with your husband. They're all like, you do what I just said by letting them know that you have a dependent, a spouse that want to go with you. You now submit with them. You can invite them later to when you go. If it's work visa, you can go with your wife. You can go with your husband. So all you do after you get your letter of offer that you have been offered a job, when you are now filing application for the visa, you file application for the visa and fill a dependent form showing you have children or you have a spouse. Then you'll be allowed to go. But you have money that cover it, or if you have sponsor, The money must cover those tickets. You understand? Except, of course, if you are lucky to get a company that decide to pay your tickets, and that's a very good way. Again, you go easily. But if you don't have, if you have the document that will enable you get visa, what are you looking for? Again, you hit the embassy and apply for your visa, or you do it online. And that is how it is. Okay, I'm trying to see some. I'm just seeing. Oh, okay. Oh, what is that? Okay. Okay. Let me see. I want to try and answer some questions before I can. A friend. Okay. I answer the question of HIV. The test is. I told you is when somebody has infectious disease. That's when they don't want. What are Okay, what are things that can make you stand a better chance? Visa approval. Yes, if you have some of these things I mentioned, if you study, apply to a good school, most schools have what we call designated institution number, designated DLII, designated learning institution number. The school must be approved designated learning institution. You understand? You have a good sponsor. You have have applied for the school and they're giving you the acceptance letter and the other things. Also include your CV, like I said before, resume. Do it, make it a resume. You understand? So somebody is asking how much is the ebook. I've said before, I'm giving it at a bonus. Our website is 3,000. The email copy of it is sent to somebody's email after payment, but you have it for 3,000 between now and the next 4 days. So I am wishing you all the very best. Everybody that participated in this webinar today, I'm wishing you all the very best. You can continue to call anytime you like, send your questions maybe by email, sign up on if you watch it later, anytime you watch it on YouTube, try and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe link so that you'll be able to get some notification from us. So the other thing is, if you need it now, all I need to do now is to pay. Yes, if you pay, yes, if you pay now, you get it. It will be sent to you. We have a very wonderful customer service. Once you pay, somebody, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. You're welcome. Some people are saying thank you. You're welcome. I'm seeing on your there's Lillian. I'm seeing all your replies. So once you get the Canada ebook, all the information you need. Besides, you have our continuous guidance. We continuously guide you to make sure that we follow you up, and we also help for people that want us to help them do the application. We help them do the application. Yeah, somebody said, Antoniola said, I got admission from a language college to study English language for 1 year. Can I go with my family immediately? Most of the times, English language programs are limited in their way of doing things because it's an English language program. But if it's a language college, you have to confer when you go to apply. Yes, you try and confer with the embassy. Sometimes it depends on the type of college. You understand? They will give you, but you just have to try first. There's no harm in trying. If they don't want to give you, they will still for you to go with your husband. What you do, you can travel after the English training for 1 year. You apply for main program, then you can invite your husband. So that is how all these things are done. Thank you. Babatola said, thank you, sir. God bless you. I really enjoyed the lecture. Yes, I wish you success. And I want you can follow us always. All the information on our blog, our website, the YouTube channel, our Facebook page, everything that will help you to succeed. You do all necessary things and try and get the Canada Guide so that you'll be able to understand the rudiments. And also, we have our services for cheap. Because most of the times when strangers call, we feel that they don't really understand how these things works. Their questions will be, sometimes they ask confusing questions. But when you have the Canada iGuide ebook, you will understand many things about this traveling to Canada stuff. One message say, thank you, so I'm really impressed with you. Thank you too. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I don't know. We are rounding up. Rounding up. I'm wishing you success and in your law. And I believe that so many of you will go to Canada soonest. I believe it that so many of you will go to Canada soonest. When you follow the steps, the truth about all this is that when you follow instructions, follow our consultants, you always succeed. Most of the times now, I see so many people send testimonials, so many people call me that somebody just gave them my number from abroad. And these are some of the people that I instructed. These are some of the people I've guided to make sure that things go well. So thank you for being part of this webinar. I am believing that you will make the best of this knowledge that you have gathered here. Once you sign up or anytime we have some things like this, we will notify you, and we believe that so many people will benefit. And make sure you participate in the bonus we have given out. Be part of it and don't miss it. Thank you, and remain blessed. Remain blessed.